Well, people say that you should invest in two things: a good high quality mattress and a good pair of boots. Because if you're not in one, then you're in the other. You know, I had a subscriber ask me the question, how many knives should a man own? And then someone else asked, how many axes should a man own? And I did videos on those, and then I did a video on how many firearms a man should own. Well, today I want to talk about how many boots a man should own. Well, hi friends, welcome back to my shop. I'm Brian Cosby's Provide and Protect. You know, over the years I've done all kinds of projects. I've done military, all kinds of things that I've been involved in. And it's always really helpful to have a good pair of boots. And I thought about this question, how many boots should a man own? And I came down to the number 4. 4 kinds of boots that I think every man should own. I want to talk about that here today. But before we get into today's video, if you are serious about being a provider and protector for yourself, your family, and your community, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. With that, let's jump right in. All right, so the first kind of boots that I think every man should own is just a basic, everyday type of work boot. And you know, these two right here are really great. And I've had others in the past as well. These right here, I buy a pair of these pretty much every year. And they don't last too long, but they're probably the most popular boots in the world. I mean, that's my opinion, but based on the reviews and the number of sales and all that. And these are the Timberland boots. These are like hiking waterproof boots. And I know they're not for work necessarily, but I've just found they're just super comfortable. Again, they don't last very long. And you know, they're about, time of recording, about $100, something like that. But what I found, the difficulty with these that I found is that this toe always comes off pretty quickly. And so again, you know, once a year I buy these. The nice thing about these though, they are lightweight. They're great for kind of running around. So the downside is for work boots, I mean, again, they're hiking boots, but for work boots, you know, they have a very soft toe. So if you drop a log or you're doing firewood or something like that, you know, or if there's something sharp that's going to land on your toe, well, that could not be a good day for you. So, but they are comfortable. And again, if I'm just kind of doing light work around the house, around the property, these are great. So nothing really bad about them, but for true work boots, probably not the best here. So these are much better, and these are new to me. These are fantastic. These are by Rocky brand, the Ironclad. Super comfortable. These do have a solid toe, so if you do drop something, you know, on your toe, it's not going to hurt your toe. And these are, of course, leather, just like these, but these are waterproof as well. On the soles down here, you've got slip and oil resistant soles on here. So these are a true work boot. So if you are doing true work, now something like this is also going to be nice, having a taller you know, part right here that goes around your ankle, so it's not, you know, twisting or anything like that. But these are very comfortable. I actually had these on and took them off for this video because I was enjoying these. But they did send these to me, so full disclosure, they did send these to me to kind of try out, and I'll have a more detailed review on these soon. But I just want you to see, you know, a couple different kinds of options for just a regular work boot. And again, if you've got a better idea for just traditional work boots, everyday work boots, house projects, you know, whatever you're doing in your shop or something like that, then drop that down below. If you're doing construction especially, or something like that, I'd love to get your thoughts and your opinions on that. But certainly one type of boot I think every man should own is just some kind of work boot like this. All right, so I think a second type of boots that every man should own is just some kind of muck boots. There are days when it's just nasty outside and raining. Of course, we have chickens and goats and dogs and everything else around our property. So these are kind of like chicken boots for me. And so, you know, walking through the chicken areas, it's kind of nasty to get the chicken poop all over your shoes and stuff. So having some muck boots, these are muck boots, and I've really enjoyed these. I've had other kinds of boots before, but what I've found is with a lot of these kinds of plasticky type, you know, rubbery type boots with other brands, they tend to crack pretty easily, and then that's not a good day when you're walking through chicken poop and, you know, you've got a hole in your boots. So these are great. They've got this like neoprene upper here, and you know, some good traction on the bottom. But I think you know those days when you need to do projects outside and it's just really nasty outside, you just got to have some kind of boot that you want to slip on. You know, you don't want to wear these downtown. Some of those work boots I showed you, you know, you could wear downtown, work out to a nice restaurant if you clean them up a little bit. These probably not. But I do think these are very, very helpful to have around the property to do work. And so I want to recommend something like this as well. All right, so I think a third type of boot that every man should own are some kind of running and gunning boot. again, we are providers and protectors, and so part of that is that you want to be athletic. You want to be able to move around quickly, and not just tennis shoes. You want something that's durable, that will hold up when you're doing some more tactical training or running and gunning, that kind of thing. And I had both of these. So I had these in the military. I was in the military, and so I had both of these kinds. These are Maelstrom here, and these are Garments, or garments here. So I like, of the two, these are my favorite, the Garments. And I don't even remember, I'll put link for this down below. I don't even remember what kind this is, T8 NFS, so whatever that is. But I was able, even through boot camp and everything else, these were fantastic. They're lightweight. A lot of the military style boots are just so heavy and clunky that these are a little heavier, and so I didn't use these as much. And didn't have as much support up here either. But I think, especially these, I'd highly recommend. I just really enjoyed these. I was able to get them on and off quickly, because sometimes when, you got some kind of a drill instructor yelling at you, you got to move pretty quickly. But I really like these because they're lightweight, they're athletic, I could run in them. And this is when I go to the range and I'm doing a lot of running and gunning, these are the kind of boots that I take. Again, these are not going to be work boots. They're not muck boots. They're for that kind of purpose of running and gunning. And so that's why I like these kinds of boots. If you are active, you move a lot, you want to do that kind of activity, well then something like this I think is really, really great. So I've enjoyed these, not these as much. I think these were cheaper, so there's that, I guess. But these were just kind of a little bit clunkier and didn't have the support, weren't as comfortable. So anyway, again, I'll drop links for these down below. All right, so the fourth and final type of boots I think every man should own is a boot that is tailored to your activity. And so for me, I do a lot of logging and forestry work, that kind of thing, and I do a lot of fishing, so those are two things I enjoy doing. And so I have boots for those particular things. So these are kind of logging type boots. Got kind of a taller upper here, got a really big heel on there as well, as you can see. And that's to give you support if you're standing on those logs and trying to do, operate a chainsaw or something. These are Georgia boots here. Really enjoy these a lot. They did initially come with one of those kind of false tongues on here, kind of protecting that top, but eventually they kind of curled up and I didn't need them. So, but I take care of these, probably once a year, once every 8 months. I'll take some Oben-Offs and some saddle soap and clean these up. And just, these have been around for a long, long time, and they've held up really well, and they're comfortable. So when I have these on, I feel just like I'm steady, in the woods, in forestry work. Or if you're into fishing, got my trout boots here, so good for walking on those slippery rocks in the creek, that kind of thing. So, whatever it is that you're into, whatever kind of activity you're into, beyond those other three that I mentioned, which I think are just basic, those three, but this is more of a broad category that is tailored to what you enjoy doing. And I do think that, boots are one of those things where a man just should have those boots. That I know a lot of people I hear quite, this comment when I posted the video about the firearms, how many firearms a man should own. And one of the most frequent comments that people made on that, we had tons of comments on that video. One of the most frequent comments was, well, I'm going to have as many firearms as my wife has shoes. And I thought it was a pretty good answer. But, how many boots should a man own? And probably a good answer is maybe just one more pair. Just one more pair. So this category is really that tailored category to your activity. So anyway, guys, I think that's it for me. I was trying to think of other kinds of boots, but I think I'm going to just keep it to these 4 types here today. Well, guys, I hope it's been helpful for you today, and I'll drop links for these down below in the description. But maybe you have another kind of boot that you think I should have included in my list today, or maybe you disagree with something that I have here today. Go ahead and drop that down in the comments below as well. But thanks so much for your support for us and for our channel, and we'll see you in our next video.